Hi everyone, I'm Holly. I am the maker and doer of all the things here at Missouri River Soap. In this video today, we have pulled Blue Candy Frappe from the curing rack and we are getting it ready to sell on the website. So what I will be doing in this video, I will be beveling and planing the bars. I will be wrapping the soap and labeling the soap. So let's get started. Let's get this batch cleaned up first. Okay, so to clean up a soap, I need my planer, and this is a planer that my husband built. And then I am going to just use this white veggie peeler. It is the same OXO, whatever you want to call it, veggie peeler that I have been using for, let me think about it, 17 years. It has beveled a lot of soap through the years. A lot. So planing is first, so I'm going to take this super beautiful bar of soap and we are going to run it across the planer. Helps if my gloves are on well. It's a little bit large. And then I just run it across the bottom first. That one did not go very well. Alright, it always takes me a moment to get the right pressure figured out. I do the sides and then I do the faces of the soap. So it made it just nice and smooth. This batch is a fairly smooth to start with, but the planing and the beveling just does create an amazing end product. So I am going to do all of the planing first, and then I will do all of the beveling. This blue has got to be my most favorite blue ever. So I think that when I go to make my layered rainbow soap here soon, I think I'm going to use this color. It is this color blend. Now, if you have not seen the making of this soap, be sure to go back to a previous video. I'm not sure where it's going to be in the lineup, but be sure to go back to a previous video on my channel. So it does create a little bit of waste. Oh, look at this curly Q. Sometimes I get really good curly Qs. Isn't that cute? But for the most part, they're just very flimsy, and as they dry, they will crumble. Let's see what I do. I just did the bottom there. Now, let's talk about the scent on this one. So my inspiration for this soap was a drink that my son had gotten, and it was a blue Jolly Rancher type drink made into a frap. So it was very creamy, almost milkshake like, with kind of that sour candy. I did not taste it, but I heard it is quite delicious. And so the scent I chose was Rainbow from Nature's Garden. It is a very fruity explosion type soap. And I have used it before, and I called it Spring Vibes. You may remember that. It was a rainbow soap at the time. So here's the thing though about this scent. Everybody's nose is a little bit different, and we do pick up different notes. Now, my daughter, I asked her, I was like, what do you get on this fragrance? And she said it's very fruity, it's very candy-like. And I was like, that's what I was going for. Now, we're not mimicking a Blue Candy Frappe scent exactly. That would take quite a bit of vanilla in the fragrance, which would cause it to turn brown. And we don't want that. So, alternately though, my son smelled this soap and he's like, I don't get candy, it's more fresh. And I said, is it maybe laundry detergent like? And he said, yes, that is actually more of what he gets. More of that fruity laundry detergent clean air, a fresh scent, fruity but fresh. So when I go to list it, I'm going to put that in my video description, that some people smell candy, some people smell fresh, clean air laundry detergent. It's kind of like when social media, people on social media, we argue, is the dress black or is it blue? It's kind of one of those things. And that does happen with many scents. Reading the reviews, a lot of people do say it just smells like fruit to them. This fragrance does not have a great description on it, but their picture shows green grapes and kiwi and pear. I get some apple in it as well. So I just thought it would be fun, and I finished my statement. I thought it would be fun to make this the Blue Candy Frappe Soap. And the frappe is kind of more in the design than anything. Now, I do keep a bench scraper here to clean off my planer, because it does get a little gunky, and when it does that, the soap is going to run on top of it kind of funny and can create grooves. So I'm just going to keep working away on this process, and then I'll meet you back here when it's time to bevel. Alright, so this batch was rather small. It's 34 bars total, so it didn't take me too long to do the planing. Now the next part is going to be beveling. So that's where I bring in my trusty peeler, and I go over every edge. So I always start with a top and a side, top and side. I go down the sides and across the bottom. I flip it down the sides and across the bottom, and then I just kind of get those bottom edges, and then that just makes the nicest edge for the bars. And so the benefit of the beveling, so if you've gotten a brand new bar of soap, well, like this, so you've gotten a brand new bar of soap, and the edges are, it's not sharp, but they're very precise edges. So you go to wash and you use it for the first time. It's not the most pleasant feeling. Some people obviously are not going to be bothered by it. Some people, it's going to be more of a sensory issue for them, and they don't like it. I am one of those people that I can go either way. But I definitely, if I have a beveled bar, I do prefer it. So that is the reason why we do that. Now, it's this part that you can get the confetti. Now, I have no plans to reuse these scraps. They will be donated. But this is the part that if somebody was going to make some confetti soap, you would take these little bits and incorporate those in. So I will show you a little bit better what the individual little shreds look like. And they're always so cute. When you really get the curly ones, those are really fun. Well, once these go into a soap and they kind of get just mixed around and bent and, you know, here and fro, they're very lovely. Oh dear. Now I will end up doing this with the samples as well. I don't plane the samples, but I do bevel them because I do think it makes a nice appearance, and it does help to kind of break up that the edges aren't always the prettiest on the end cuts, and so the beveling just does make them look nice. So I am just going to keep on beveling these bars, and when I'm not yammering and looking at cameras, I can get going pretty quick. And then we will move on to the next part of the cleanup. Alright, so I grabbed some pictures real quick, and now it is time to wrap the soaps. And what I use are 12-inch white deli wrappers. They always come in these weird bags that always tear so much, but this particular one is called Stock Your Home brand, and I like it the best. It just has the right thickness, just the right amount of opacity, I guess I should say. I think that's the word I'm looking for. But I quite love this one. And so I just take a small amount, because I don't want to overdo it for my poor cutter here. So I just have my paper cutter here. And I am going to cut at 9 inches. Now, reminder, this is 12 inches square. I have gotten some of these, not from this particular company, but there are some out there that are not square. Now you'll have to ignore my dry hands. I wash my hands so many times when I'm out in the studio, and so by the time I get in for the night, I have to moisturize. So I'm going to cut that at 9. And then I just have little extra pieces here. I usually save those for wax melt testing colors. So now this is 9 by 6, and I'm going to cut it in half. So before we do that, let's double check the weight of these bars. So my bars are approximately 3.5. I'm just double checking as I go. They're just under 2.5 because of course we bevel in plane and then they cure down, evaporate excess moisture by 1. I do wrap in the papers because I have not found a box that I like. So we do that for now. This bar is 5 over 5 ounces, and I just pick through. This is 4.6. I could tell it was a smaller bar, so I definitely checked my smaller bars. This is 4.25. I may set that one aside. This is 4.8. I may set this one aside because I did feel like it was a little small. 4.7. My bars are between 4 and 5 ounces typically. This bar is 4.9. And so if I find one along the way that feels small, I will go ahead and give it a test. But they're all plenty in the 4 to 5 ounce range. But the one, I could just tell by the feel of it that it's just kind of small. And so, it might be mine. So, there's that. Alright, so I'm going to take my paper, put the short end by me and the long end out. I'm just going to place a bar and I'm going to put it over towards this side for now, the bottom. I like the bottom to not have too much because that can be a real pain to deal with. There's too much on the bottom of the bar. And I just wrap it like a present. It's pretty simple, really. The wrapping goes very quickly. I do wish I could go back to a box. I have not found a box that works for my soap size. I used to use a box, but they were for the bigger bars. When ingredients started to get more expensive and things started to become more difficult as a whole for the nation, I started cutting my bars at 1 inch. And so that meant I had to eliminate the boxes. Now, that being said, the boxes are quite expensive and the papers are not. So overall, I do love the papers and I think they work great. However, it is nicer to me to have a box where you can just pop the soap out and then pop it back in and you have not ruined any packaging. So I will probably have to do a custom box eventually, but chime in. Tell me, what do you think? Do you like the papers? Does it bother you that the packaging is ruined to open them up and sniff them, and maybe you're not ready to use it yet and you just want to put them on a shelf for now? I mean, you'll just have to let me know, because that will help me decide what I need to do. Actually, quite helpful. I know a lot of you love the papers, just love them. And so that is why I have stuck with the papers for as long as I have, because I know they are well received. Now, here we have a nicely wrapped bar. That look good? So I am 10 down already. I will go ahead and wrap some more, and then we will go ahead and label these. Let's go ahead and label these bars. I have my sheets printed already. I designed my labels in Adobe Illustrator, and I use label sheets from Online Labels, and I print with just whatever laser printer, HP printer is available from Costco when I need one. So I don't know what its number is. It's just whatever the HP laser printer is at Costco at the time. So I like to line up the 5 bars. I have 5 labels on each sheet, and I like to kind of fold these up. I do the back first. These were fairly centered. I seem to struggle with getting my labels centered, and then sometimes your printer pulls it funny. And so now for the fronts. I love how this label turned out. It is so cute. So cute. I had to work with it for a little bit. And I know I'll get asked, but no, I do not plan to do a tutorial on label design. I do not have a degree in graphic design or anything. I have just worked and figured it out over the last many, many years. Lots of YouTube videos. YouTube is your friend, just like you're here now. YouTube is your friend for label design. And I just really, if I have something that I need to figure out, I just Google and YouTube it until I figure it out. But I'm not an expert. I get a little frustrated, actually, to tell you the truth. I was a little wound up this morning making this label. So I don't foresee myself doing a tutorial. I guess I'll never say never, but over the last many years, it's been no. Alright, let's line them up like so. I quite like this end process. I like seeing them all packaged so beautifully. Just very crisp, clean, and then their nice glossy label at the end. It makes me very happy. So they make just the cutest bars. I love the packaging. So, you know, the box is still debatable. I do really like this. Alright, so we are going to do a little lather test of this soap bar, and I have formulated our bars to balance the conditioning and the cleansing. So they're not going to be overly stripping, but they are still a bar of soap. Their job is to cleanse. It is not to moisturize. However, there are some ways, like too much coconut, too much palm kernel oil, etc., and you may have bubbles that just explode all over the place. But my question to you is, how do your hands feel after you've washed for a couple of days? The bubbles are fun, but that's not exactly where it's at when it comes to creating a balanced soap bar. So that is what we have done. Now, your water is also going to affect your lather. Do you have highly chlorinated water? Do you have hard water? Do you have soft water, etc.? It's all going to make a difference. The other thing that's going to make a difference in how a handcrafted soap lathers for you is what's on your hands. Are your hands greasy? Then you're probably not going to get a very good lather. Are your hands super dry? You might actually get an amazing lather. And it's just going to vary. So let's reposition here so you actually can see what's happening, and let's give this a test. So we are on well water here, and it is a little bit hard. It is filtered, but it does still have some mineral content. I'm just going to turn on the water a little bit. It's going to be loud, but it is what it is. Alright, so first thing, a fresh bar can sometimes have like a little skin, and it can, I guess, go over here, we can see better. So you definitely need to give it a little bit of an extra go. The way I formulate my bars is that they have this nice little sudsy lather. They can explode in bubbles if you want. You can go on and on and on and wash for a while. The bubbles may get very thin, but then you can just reactivate and get back to it. And I am just sending soap everywhere. I absolutely love my recipe. It feels oh so good and creamy. The lather is not, just exploding with huge bubbles that are popping all over the place. But it's just creating a nice coating on my hands. I can reactivate it just over and over and over again. And in full disclosure, I'm a germaphobe, so I feel like I'm a master on hand washing and what lather is epic and what lather is not epic. And I've made a mess, a little bit more of a mess than I tend to make. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, a little more in-depth look at my process once a soap comes off of the curing rack. This soap is going to be for sale on February 20th at 5 p.m. Mountain at moriversoap.com. I do hope that you'll give this video a like, leave me a comment. I so enjoy chatting with you, and I'll catch you on the next video.